Today I'm going to show you how to do cardboard art. I love to grab pieces of cardboard that look like literal trash, that are all beat up and have like holes and rips and tape and words on them. Those are my favorite to do cardboard art with. But if you are choosing a piece of cardboard that looks pretty normal, flat, doesn't have a lot wrong with it, peel up the edges and get some of that corrugation exposed. And I love how it adds that little like tear aspect of it. And then I like to grab all of these supplies and then I kind of just like run with my imagination. I usually don't have any type of plan set except for maybe colors that I want to use, maybe some patterns I want to use, and maybe one or so images that I think would look good with those patterns. But it's not like me going and drawing a blueprint or drawing a rough draft. Like I kind of just try it out. And then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'll fix it. So first I hydrated all of the colors by just putting water on them. And then I am just painting directly onto the cardboard with the watercolor. And I am making sure to kind of go in rainbow order so that the colors don't turn muddy and so that all of the colors are analogous colors, which basically means that they're next to each other on the color wheel, which also means that they will look good next to each other and again, not be muddied since they're next to each other on the color wheel. So then I'm grabbing a blow dryer to dry it off because as you can see, the cardboard is wet. It's kind of soggy and there's not much that you can do with it at this point. You need it to be completely dry for you to be able to work on the next part or portion of it. So I'm just blow drying it. When you are blow drying it, please make sure, even though like at this angle it looks like I'm doing it, but please make sure that you are not actually placing the blow dryer on anything that you are blow drying, because then you will blow the motor out. You could literally cause a fire. So then I'm going to grab the paint pens that I want to use and I'm making sure to shake them, making sure that they're activated. And the way that you activate them is that you press down on them and make sure the paint is flowing through the nib. And so I'm kind of just like drawing in the areas where the colors that are similar to them are. And I love being able to draw inside the corrugation. It adds a like really cool texture and detail. And so then now I'm just doing little dots above it and under them. And I'm just kind of, like I said, and just rolling with it. I'm like, hey, you know what? I kind of feel like doing lines. So then I did lines. And it ends up kind of going where you're like, does this actually look good? But then like the more I kept working with it, I was like, okay, no, I'm headed in the right direction. So whatever you were planning on drawing, just make sure that it's appropriate because you want to be proud of your artwork. You don't want it to be something that's inappropriate, especially if this is going to be at school. It's going to be displayed at school. So make sure it's school appropriate. If you wanted to make this kind of artwork for your own self, like on your own time, go right ahead. But for school, make it school appropriate. So I'm just like going and I'm adding black. I love, love, love adding black with the colors because it just seriously adds so much contrast and interest, and it makes those colors pop. It makes it look way more interesting and unique so that the colors are not like blending into each other either. And so here I am and I'm adding pink. Pink is my favorite color. I'm gonna add pink to like everything that I can. But again, use colors that you find interesting, and if you don't want to do rainbow colors, you can choose any color family that you want, but make sure that it is an actual color family so that this will actually end up looking good. And I sign it on the front and I sign it on the back with the year. Now for the second trash art that I like to do, or cardboard art, is where you do a pencil drawing on a white sheet of paper. I always make sure that I have a reference image though, because when you're drawing off the top of your head and you're trying to make it look realistic, you're going to probably not make it look as realistic as you want. And like how I was drawing it, I was like, shoot, I messed up. I need to erase this. And I want you to be able to erase. So that's why we're doing it in pencil. So I love alligators. I'm drawing this alligator and I am stylizing it a little bit. So I'm trying to make the proportions pretty accurate. But when I am starting to actually like shade and add those like details, highlights, shadows, all of that, I'm not spending a lot of time on this. I am just kind of, making it a little stylized and making it kind of like liney. And I don't usually do this. And I actually love working like this. I normally try and make things look super realistic, and that's how I was trained, is to do like hyper realism. But so what I have started doing is I have started allowing myself to more loosely express my art, and it's actually more fun and enjoyable. And so then now I'm doing a flower, and the reason I'm doing a flower is because I'm going to put these together. And I grabbed another sheet of paper because I wasn't sure how big I wanted this and like how much extra detail the leaves and petals and all of that little like foliage that I was going to add. So that's why I grabbed another sheet of paper. So don't come at me for wasting paper. I'm sorry. I should have planned this out better, but I didn't. So here we are. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these out. And when I'm cutting them out, you need to have a thin, even white border around the whole thing. If you don't have a thin, even white border around the whole thing and you cut it out specifically, like here I am cutting out each individual tooth, it's just not going to look very put together. It's not going to look like you actually spent time caring about cutting this out. And try not to cut it out on the lines, because then you're going to cut away your drawing, because the line is your drawing. So don't cut on the line. That's why you're going to leave a thin, even border around it. And try and make it so that the borders are the same thickness. If you are going to combine two separate drawings like what I'm doing. So I am going around all of the little foliage and trying to cut it out so that it is, again, all the same thickness and make it look super consistent. And then now I'm going to take the cardboard and I'm going to try and figure out where I want to place this, how I want to place it. And when I figure it out, then I realize, hey, I think it would look more interesting if it kind of looked like wavy, like water. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline everything in the glue, and then I take the cap of the glue bottle and I spread the glue in a thin, even layer across the entire thing so that it's not soggy, but it gets every single part down. So there you go.